Hello, grade 9 students. Let's discuss further about the properties of special parallelograms. Before that, let us have first a warm-up. Let us solve for x for number 1. 16x minus 3 is equal to 12x plus 3. 13. Okay, what's your answer? By transposition, we have 4x equals 16. So 4. I think the answer is 4. Ito naman sa number 2, 94 divided by 2. 47. Next, ABCD is a parallelogram. Find each measure. Number 3, CD. What is the length of CD? Of course, CD and AB are equal. Yes. Opposite sides of parallelogram are equal. 5y minus 1 equals 2y plus 8. So, 3y equals 9. So, 3 yung y. So, therefore, CD is... What is CD? 3. 6 plus 8, 14. You measure up angle C. This first solve for x. Angle A and angle B are supplementary. They are consecutive angles, so they are supplementary. Their sum is 180 degrees. So whatever the angle, the measure of angle A is the measure of angle C. So we have 30x plus 30 equals 180. 30x plus 30 equals 30x plus 30 equals 180. 180 minus 30, 150 divided by 35. 5 yung x. So 14 times 5 none. 70 plus 34 114 yung ang I'm sorry. Yes, 140 degrees pala. Yes, 140 degrees. 70 104. 70 plus 34 is 104 degrees. Yes. So for the objectives, prove and apply properties of rectangles, rhombuses, and squares. Use properties of rectangles, rhombuses, and squares to solve problems. So actually, these are the special parallelograms: rectangles, rhombus, and square. So what are the vocabulary for this topic? Rectangle, rhombus, and square. So a second type of special quadrilateral is a rectangle. A rectangle is quadrilateral with 4 right angles. It's actually a parallelogram because all the properties of parallelogram comprise the properties of a rectangle. So we have here the properties of rectangles. Theorem: if quadrilateral is a rectangle, then it's a parallelogram. So that means rectangle is a parallelogram. So if we have here ABCD as a rectangle, conclusion is also a parallelogram. If a parallelogram is a rectangle, then its diagonals are congruent. So that means the diagonals of rectangles are congruent. So AC is equal to segment AC is equal to segment is congruent to segment BD. Now, since a rectangle is a parallelogram by theorem 6-4-1, a rectangle inherits all the properties of parallelogram that you learned. Yes. So all the properties of parallelogram are also the properties of a rectangle. Graph application. A woodworker constructs a rectangular picture frame so that JK is 50 cm, JL is 86, find HM. So pag 86 yan, 86 din yung KM, divided by 43 yung HM. 43. Diba? 43 cm. Tignan nyo. Ano naman ang big solution. So, yung big solution nito, no? So, in rectangle, the diagonals are equal. So, KM is equal to JL. Now, JL is 86. KM is also 86. Definition of congruent segments. And then, in parallelogram, diagonals bisect each other. So, HM is 1/2 KM. So, 1/2 of 86 is 43 cm. The rectangular gate has diagonal braces. Find HJ. So, GK is 48 inches. So, HJ is also 48 inches. The rectangle, diagonals are congruent. So, 48 din yung HJ. 48 din yung HJ. HJ is 48 also, same as GK. Yan. The rectangular gate has diagonal braces. Find HK. Ito naman yung diagonals. Dito dito hindi diagonals are congruent. The opposite sides are congruent. Yes. Tama yan, diagonals are congruent. But also in the rectangle, opposite sides are congruent. So HJ is equal to 48 GK. So 48. So dito naman, diagonal braces. So diagonals are congruent. HK is equal to JG. So pareho silang 30.8. JL is equal to LG. Diagonals bisect each other. So 30.8 times 2 is 61.6. So that is the length of JG. Yung HK, yes, JG is 61.6, therefore HK is also 61.6 kasi diagonals of a rectangle are congruent. Yan. So LJ is 30.8 inches. That means JG is 61.6 inches. Therefore, HK is also 61.6 inches. Another type of special parallelogram is called the rhombus. Rhombus is another special quadrilateral. A rhombus is quadrilateral with 4 congruent sides. Yeah, this is a rhombus ABCD. All sides are congruent. Ito naman ang mga properties of rhombuses. Number 1, if a quadrilateral is rhombus, then it is a parallelogram. So a rhombus is also a parallelogram. That means all the properties of parallelogram are also the properties of a rhombus. Like all sides are equal. All opposite sides are equal, etc. If a parallelogram is a rhombus, then its diagonals are perpendicular. Dito naman yung additional properties. Hindi niya naman ito sa parallelogram. Pero sa rhombus, yung diagonals, they bisect each other. That means the diagonals form 4 right angles. That means AC is perpendicular to BD. It forms 90 degrees angle. And if a parallelogram is a rhombus, then each diagonal bisects a pair of opposite angles. Sa rhombus, each diagonal bisects opposite angle. So, equal yung angle 1 and angle 2. Angle 3 is congruent to angle 4. Angle 5 is congruent to angle 6. Angle 7 is congruent to angle 8. Yan. So, like a rectangle, rhombus is a parallelogram. So, you can apply the properties of parallelograms to rhombuses. Okay. We have here rhombus TVWX. Find TB. Saan ba yung TB dyan? Ito, TB. Find TB how? Let us first solve for XT and WB. They are equal. All sides are equal in the rhombus. So, whatever the side of XT and WB, it's also the length of the side of BT or TV. So let's equate 3b plus 4 equals 13b minus 9, or 13b minus 9 equals 3b plus 4. So 10b equals what? 13. Because 13b minus 9 equals 3b plus 4. So we have 10b equals 13. 13 over 10. 13 over 10 or 1.3 ang length of B. So therefore, what's the length of WB or XT? 1.3 times 3 is 3.9 plus 4. 7.9. So 7.9 na rin yung TV. 7.9 na rin yung TV. 7.9 yung TV. Another, TVWX is a rhombus. Find measure of angle VTZ. Saan ba yung BTZ dito? BTZ. Ito, this one, this angle. Can you solve that? This is 14a plus 20. This is also 5a minus 5. Right. Wow. So it says here, the diagonals are perpendicular in the rhombus. So that means 90 degrees yan. 90 degrees ito. So 14a plus 20 equals 90. 90 minus 20, 70 divided by 14. That means a is 5. Yeah. 14a plus 20 equals 90 degrees. So 5 yung a. Continuation. In a rhombus, each diagonal bisects opposite angles. Substitute 5a minus 5 for angle VTZ. Substitute a by 5. 5 times 5 is 25 minus 5, 20 degrees. Therefore, angle VTZ is 20 degrees. 20 degrees siya. Yan. VTZ. So, pag 70 yan, and a is 5, 5 times, substitute mo. Yung a, yung 5 there. 20 degrees ang angle VTZ. Next, CDFG is a rhombus. Find CD. Okay, we all know that in a rhombus, all sides are equal. So, we are going to equate 5a by 3a plus 17. So, 2a equals 17. 17 halves. 17 halves a, or 8.5. So, what is the length of CD? 8.5 times 5, or 3a, 3 times 8.5 plus 17, 42.5. 42.5 na rin yung CD. The length of CD. CD is equal to GF. CD is equal to 42.5. Diba? Did you get it? Yan. Or 5 times 8.5 is yun, 42.5. Also the length of the CD, segment CD. Another CDFG is a rhombus. Find the measure. Measure of angle GCH. If measure of angle GCD is B plus 3. And measure of angle CDF is 6B minus 40 degrees. Okay, definition of rhombus. Measure of angle GCD plus measure of angle CDF is equal to 180 degrees. Definition of rhombus. Properties rin yan ng parallelogram. Consecutive sides, consecutive angles are supplementary. Measure of angle GCD is given. Ayun, B plus 3. Yun naman CDF, 6B minus 40. So you can now solve for B here. 7B minus 37. Or 180 plus 37 to 17 divided by 7, 31 degrees is the value of B. Therefore, 34 degrees yung angle GCD. Yan naman CDF, 31 times 6, 186 minus 40 is 146. Now, in rhombus, each diagonal bisect opposite angles. Yan. Yan. For GCD and CDF, yung sinasabi ko kanina na measure, no? Pero what we're trying to find is the measure of angle GCH ito. Okay, in rhombus, we all know that each diagonal bisect opposite angles. So, measure of angle GCH plus measure of angle HCD equals measure of angle GCD. So, since equal yung GCH and HCD, twice siya. 2 measure of angle GCH is equal to B plus 3. Given naman yan. Angle GCD is B plus 3. And B is 31. 34 divided by 217. Therefore, measure of angle GCH is 17 degrees. Nasolve na. Okay, another property of, another kind of special parallelogram is a square. A square is a quadrilateral with 4 right angles and 4 congruent sides. In the exercises, you will show that square is a parallelogram, a rectangle, and a rhombus. So a square has the properties of all 3. So combining all the properties of parallelogram, rectangle, and rhombus, Yun yung lahat yung properties ng square. Yan. Opposite angles are equal. Consecutive angles are supplementary. Opposite sides are parallel and congruent. Diagonals are equal. Diagonals bisect each other. And the diagonals are perpendicular also. Yun. Helpful hint: rectangles, rhombuses, and squares are sometimes referred to as special parallelograms. Okay. Show that the diagonals of square EFGH here in the figure are congruent perpendicular bisectors of each other. Congruent daw sila. Okay. You can be able to solve that using the distance formula. Yan, distance formula tayo. So for EG, yan, square root of t. For FH is also square root of 50. Therefore, they are equal. Equal sila. And how can you show that they are perpendicular bisectors of each other? So, since EG is equal to FH, segment EG is congruent to segment FH. Show that EG and FH are perpendicular, of course. Slopes nila. The product of their slope should be -1. So, what is the slope of EG? 1/7. Slope of FH, -7. So, as you can see, 1/7 times -7 is -1. The product is -1, therefore they are perpendicular. Okay, show that EG and FH are bisect each other. Okay, midpoint lang, midpoint. -1/2, -1/2. Midpoint of FH is also -1/2, -1/2. That means they bisect each other. Okay, so the diagonals are congruent perpendicular bisectors of each other. Check it out. The vertices of a square ST the VW are -5 for S, for S, T 02, V 6 -3, W 1 -9. Show that the diagonals of square STVW are congruent perpendicular bisectors of each other. So just like what we did in the previous slides. Yan. The opposite side should be congruent. So yun. SB, I mean yung diagonals pala yan, STV. SB is equal to the VW. Diagonals are congruent yun. Using the distance formula, square root of 122. So therefore, segment SB is congruent to segment TW. Then, to determine if they're perpendicular, yun, just solve their slope. For the slope of SB, segment SB 1/11. For the slope of segment TW, -11. So for the product is -1, therefore they are perpendicular. The diagonals are perpendicular. And to show that they are congruent, distance formula again, square root of 122. To show that they are perpendicular, their slopes have a product of -1. And show that they bisect each other, midpoint formula naman. 1/2 -7/2, 1/2 -7/2. So the diagonals bisect each other because they have the same midpoint. And the diagonals are therefore congruent perpendicular bisectors of each other. Another, ABCD is a rhombus. Okay? E is the midpoint of AB and F is the midpoint of CD. Prove that AEFD is a parallelogram. Okay, we have here the two-column proof. So, consisting of statements and reasons. So, number 1, ABCD is a rhombus. E is the midpoint of AB. F is the midpoint of CD. Given yan. ABCD is a parallelogram. Rhombus is also a parallelogram. Segment AE is parallel to segment FD. Definition of parallelogram. Segment AB is congruent to segment CD. In a parallelogram, opposite sides are congruent. AB equals CD. Definition of congruence. AE is 1/2 AB. FD is equal to 1/2 CD. Definition of midpoint. FD is 1/2 of AB. Substitution. AE is equal to FD. Transitive property of equality. Segment AE is congruent to segment FD. Definition of congruence. Therefore, number 10, AEFD is a parallelogram. Quadrilateral with one pair of opposite sides, congruent and parallel. So, it's a parallelogram. Okay, example 4. PQST is a rhombus with diagonal PR. PQST, yan. Prove that RQ is congruent to RS. So, for number 1 statement, PQSTS is a rhombus given. PT, segment PT bisects angle QPS. In a rhombus, each diagonal bisects opposite angles. Angle QPR is congruent to angle SPR, definition of angle bisector. Segment PQ is congruent to segment PS, definition of rhombus. PR is congruent to PR, reflexive property of congruence. Triangle QPR is congruent to triangle SPR, SAS or side angle side. Segment RQ is congruent to segment RS. Congruent parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So for lesson quiz part 1, slab of concrete is poured with diagonal spacers. In a rectangle CNRT, CN is 35 feet and NT is 58 feet. Find each length. So number 1, TR, and number 2, CE. Okay, apply all the properties of rectangle, rhombus, and square in this particular quiz. So ito yung answer. Okay, show your solution and submit to me. Send your answers in a messenger. Okay. Number 1, TR is 35 feet, CE is 29 feet. Okay, show the solution. For part 2, PQRS is a rhombus. Find each measure. Yan, given QR for A minus 13, RS 3A, angle Q or angle PQR 78 degrees. Find the measure of QP and measure of angle QRP. Per 342, number 451 degrees. Again, show your solution applying all the properties of the rhombus. Number 5, the vertices of the square are ABCD are A13, B32, C44, and D25. Show that its diagonals are congruent, perpendicular bisectors of each other. Just like what we did in previous slides. Okay. Dapat diagonals are congruent. Diagonals are perpendicular by the slope formula. Pag congruent naman yung diagonals, distance formula, and pag diagonals bisect each other, midpoint formula naman. Yan. Yan ang answer. You can screenshot on this part. And then show me your solution. Another, ABCD is a rhombus. Segment DF is congruent to segment BE. Prove that triangle ABE is congruent to triangle CDF. Yan. 2-column proof. Ito na yung answer yan. ABCD is a rhombus given. AB is congruent to CD, definition of rhombus. ABCD is a parallelogram. Of course, rhombus is a parallelogram. Angle B is congruent to angle D. Opposite angles are congruent in a parallelogram. Segment DF is congruent to segment BE given. Therefore, triangle AB is congruent to triangle CDF by SAS theorem. End of the slide. Thank you for listening. Okay, we're now through with the special properties of special parallelograms. I'll see you next time. This is your Sir Ken. Goodbye.